We have a lot of people that are losing hope. It seems like, and I don't think people should lose hope. I think this battle's already won, but that what is happening is people. We would have not found ourselves in this place had people placed God's will ahead of man's will. And I know that seems like, well, what does that mean? But and this is why I think it's very much like a classroom here, because it is a tricky thing at times. But in order, the Bible it has a meaning. It's a living document. So, Barack Obama said during his office, he really bashed the Bible. People probably don't know that, because I didn't know that till today. That, especially Sermon on the Mount, which just really tells me a whole lot about him. Because Sermon on the Mount is beautiful. But to somebody like Obama, you're going to, he's ignorant. Because he lives in this world and he didn't create it. So while he stood there and disrespected the Creator, it just shows you how pompous, how arrogant, and many of our politicians, the leaders, that's what happens, because man is quick to think that they are righteous. And it's we all fall into the trap, but what's important is to recognize that it's about God's will, not ours. So when anybody who thinks that 2022 election or everything, you hear this every year. You do. You hear this it's going to change. There's going to be this red wave, and it's like, okay, well, sure. And even if there is, okay, what's going to happen? Because when you look at the politicians, the very people that run, they don't have any clue what it's like for the average everyday American. They don't. I've heard this word for months from people about discernment, and people that I have great respect for saying it. But here's the thing. For things to really be different, then the system has to be different. Okay, it can't be about your popularity, your up and coming popularity with each other. It can't be all your politicians with their media people. Now that it's social media is the thing, all in their ecosystem together. It can't. It's going right down the same path, very fucking same path, because it's not focusing on what's important. Everybody in this country, what we should be focused on. I get people are upset about shots, and they think that money is the most important thing to focus on. No, it's not. No, it's not. I know it's scary, but I think God knows that in order to make people have unshakable faith, He needs to shake them. That's what I think is going on. I think this train wreck would turn around if everybody in a small way stepped out of their comfort zone. And if they don't want to, God will shake until people do. Because otherwise, it'll be destruction to continue down this path. You have so many people that have been focused on whatever their vacation is, or whatever the sports their kid is in. And not that those things aren't good, but we've veered so far off track from real, like, does anybody stop and think about why are we here? Like, I don't know. I think about that a lot. Like, what is the purpose? And I think the purpose is it's a classroom. We're supposed to learn. And many of us have stopped learning. I see so many people, that education has gotten in the way for some. Others, it's the paycheck, because, and they justify stuff because they have to put food on the table. That's how you end up in what we're in right now, is that kind of stuff. So it's good seeing people stand up for something, and quitting their jobs, because that's scary. That's why I applaud people that do that, because I've been there. I've done it more than once. It's not and with nothing to fall back on. That's what all these politicians running, because most of your politicians have money, as I've said before. They don't get us. They don't get us everyday average Americans. Okay, I liked General Flynn. I like him. I have great respect for him. I think it's horrible what happened to him and his family. However, I've gotten upset when I sit there and hear him say to the average Americans who have been shitted on many times, when he says, stop complaining. Long before he was targeted, there's hundreds, probably thousands of Americans in this country who have been targeted that he nor anybody else knew about, that were stepping up, speaking up, trying to do something. And because they weren't popular or in a presidential administration, nobody knew about them. So I get a little annoyed with hearing that, because it's like, and he means well. I know that. He wants people to get involved, and they should. Even if it's just speaking up, people should get involved. But this whole discernment thing, I spent months contacting the White House, the DOJ, the FBI, all of them. There wasn't anybody, and this has been even when I've had to contact people before, long before Trump's administration, nobody would get back to me. That's part of the problem. Like, when a politician will actually get back to you, then maybe I'll have a little bit of faith in the whole politician thing. But they don't. They just blow you off because you're just an everyday American, right? While they're going to their cocktail parties and posting on social media all the great things they're going to do. Everybody's sick of that crap. Everybody's sick of it. Sick to death of it. And yes, I'm going to complain because I have spoken up. I have tried to do my part. I don't have the money to go getting involved, nor do I want to. Because you know what? I don't think that's where the answer is found. The answer is not found in man. I believe God does use his children. But I think because it's God's glory, not our glory, the solution will be found in God. And God, this would turn this around once people start really, truly looking to him and realizing that we live in somebody else's house. We are not the creator. And he's trying to get us to see that. That's what's most important. Any politician that's running right now that's not putting children first I question, because as long as you're all praising each other and you're in your ecosystem, whatever, with each other, the same people always with each other, they text with each other and get phone calls and their social media, whatever. It's just, it's the same thing. Yet all the while, mandated child abuse is happening in this country. See, Jesus loved the little children, right? The vulnerable, most important. So your popularity and who's going to back you, that to me, that's man. That's all man stuff. That's the traps man gets caught in. Every politician running right now that really cares, that they should be speaking heavily about the mandated child abuse, because God would put people before anything else. See, when we put people ahead of the money, and we're willing to step outside that box of money being the root of everything, and we realize that God is the root of everything, then we'll see a change. Then we will have a different world we're living in.